Oh, it looks like we're live. Just a couple of minutes after 8 o'clock on a Thursday night. If you choose to watch this, then cheers, because you're about to listen to a 54-year-old man talk about his clothes. Welcome to High G's. First of all, this place, aka West Lothian's most exclusive nightclub, known to many people that will watch this. Only a very select few have ever been in here. If you have, then you're on a very small list, an exclusive list. It keeps going through changes. Normally behind me I have Scottish, the last iterations of High G's. I'll maybe give you a little tour, but not tonight. I apologise for the lack of musical intro. I stopped StreamYard, I didn't pay for it this year, so we're going to do this on YouTube this time. Maybe little clips on Facebook. I'm probably not going to be on here too long, 20 minutes tops. The JFDI show, normally you would have a guest. I don't have a guest at the moment. It's not what I'm going to talk about tonight. If you're watching this, seeing me and have met me in the capacity as a technologist or as a Wim Hof instructor, and you're looking for some breath work, maybe in another video. But this is the thing that I'm going to talk about later. The number of things that make this channel probably a little different, but that's not what this is about, as you'll find out. Tonight, it's about my clothes. I'm going to tell you a little, just a very short story about my clothes, and it's some of it's funny, some of it I find a little bit insightful, but news at the end. Hopefully, I can. The mission remains the same. Let's leave it like that. There might not be another guest on at the moment, but a lot has happened since the last time I graced the airwaves, and so let's just start where I was speaking about my clothes. So, why are you talking about your clothes, Graham? Aye, well, okay, it's a little bit more than that. So this top today is probably the first time that I've had this top on in about 6 months. And I say that because it's been in a pile of clothes that has moved into the pile of clothes that goes under the label of these clothes were bought when I was slimmer. These clothes were bought for maybe a special occasion that I'd put in some work or effort to get to, into shape for it. So today I'm kind of, there's no script for tonight, no script for this. I know what I want to talk about, but it might go anywhere, so you'll be warned. So I'm feeling a bit chuffed because I've lost the weight, okay, to get into the top. And I think, obviously, it's like, there's still, by the way, I've got into this top, but there are an awful lot more tops and shirts, t-shirts, a whole load of clothes that don't fit. And so right now, I don't know. I will ask a question. Has anybody ever? I guess here's the question. At what point? And I kind of will come on to the answer as well. But at what point do you say I ain't ever getting back into them? When do you do that? At what point? At what point do you say I'm never fitting into that again? And Or do you use that to go, actually, I am getting into that. I'm getting into that. So I feel good about about having lost the weight. But that's just, I guess, the kind of surface. I'm not coming on here to go, hey, look, I've lost some weight. Actually, the story starts over a year ago, because to many people, this video on YouTube was probably the first that you will have seen of me just talking in probably about a year. And I've been dark, really, in the sense of, like, for years, I've been posting. We were doing the GFDI podcast, we were doing the radio show, and I've been dark, if you will, for a little while. No podcasts for a little bit, no radio shows for a little bit. But I've been busy. I've been busy. I've not been posting on social media very much at all. But in the background, I believe I've been busy away doing the work. So I'm not coming on here to go, hey, look, it's more about alignment for me, and also it's the start of July. I'll kind of I'll roll the clock back a little bit, but not too far. You don't need to go all the way back for a year. Just go back to March. I finished up at the end of March with the Scottish Government. 5 years working with the Scottish Government. So fulfilling. What a wonderful, wonderful contract. And anybody that I've spoken to in terms of just how much I got out of that, because I knew that we were delivering benefits, transformed, to put more money into the pockets and, improve the lives of the people of Scotland. How cool is that, right? So finished up at the end of March. And for those that have known me way back, since early days of Royal Air Force, something became quite apparent with me, and this was a mindset thing, so maybe we're looking at a mindset shift here coming up. I don't know. I hope so. Oh, well, that threw me, didn't it? What I was saying was, I used to think I am the type of person who, do you know that line? I am the kind of person who, I think most people are like this though, right? If I don't have something specifically to get up for in the morning, I'm not an early riser. I'll stay up very late, working late at night. I've always been a night owl, and I know the whole circadian rhythm thing, and I know the ways in which you can change it. However, over the years, I have also recognised that some of my most creative periods are been in the middle of the night, so I don't worry about it too much. However, it could be a bit of a problem for, if it was a big issue, getting up for a job. So the snooze button when I was back in the day was what got me in trouble. Sleeping in somewhere I should be. Let's just say, when I finished up with the Scottish Government at the end of March, I've had a wee rest. I like to think I've rested the body, definitely rested the mind, and I decided, after probably roll the month forward to about April, and don't hold me to it, but I think after a month of, I say not working, not lucratively employed, but certainly keeping myself busy, I recognised that some of my own standards had slipped, and it, like, I think had happened before that. As I said earlier, probably roll the clock back about 6 months, probably to the beginning of the year, where everybody's, let's go, big push for the year, and I just wasn't massively overweight. I looked okay in the mirror, but I wasn't doing what I used to do, which was asking myself some, not harder questions. I think I've moved forward from there. I think I'd like to say some, like, kind of deeper questions, and not deep philosophical maybe, but more just in terms of my own standards, I guess. and in terms of what I was prepared to put up with. And I think I was inspired by people around me, family, friends, and getting back on track just with little tweaks. I think it's kind of made me realise, okay, so I said it was about alignment, it's not about a bit of vanity, right? I think everything's kind of taught me, again, that, call it my biggest lesson, if you will, from the last year. Because I think the number of years before that, I was very public facing in terms of videos, like you say, radio and podcast. I was doing a lot of things, took a lot of energy with the Wim Hof method and technology. So I think since the end of March, I've had a little bit of time to, to reflect, but it's not been reflection in terms of giving myself a hard time. I used to do that in the past, a lot. But I have taken a look at things going on, remove the emotion. I realised a long time ago, because the JFDI show, that the JFDI mission was always about, getting to that point in your life where you were like, come on, this is it. You can look at life one of two ways, right? You can look at it like this. Or this. No. You can look at it like this. This is it. Or you could look at it like this. This is fucking it. Now, whatever way you want to look at it, we don't have a long time here. And for most people I know, well, you're way past halfway. Me too, probably, And I kind of think, I'm way past worrying about, like, I'm 54 years old, right? I might post this on LinkedIn as well. I don't know. But I tell you what, I've found mental stability. I've found focus. I've found discipline again. None of those things went away. They were always in here, right? But I've stopped being afraid of what people think. I did that my whole life. Going into technology, that whole big, I'm not good enough malarkey. What? I still have it, by the way, still in there. But what it makes me realise now, rather than when I think that, really when I think, oh, I'm not in the right place, these people are all way too talented, regardless of what it is, Wim Hof, technology. I was at a stand-up open mic poetry night the other night with my daughter. Stay on track, Graham, biggest lesson. It doesn't matter. You see, I've gone completely off track, and I knew it would. Stay on track, and all I've got is a couple of notes. The point is, I've felt, I guess, more out of my comfort zone doing these things in the past. That's why I started to do them. And I think as I've moved forward, I've realised, I think more that, do you know what, that number one aspect of living a JFDI, one of 45 ways, to apply your JFDI, if we remember that. It's like, we have nothing to prove to anybody, ever. Of course you do. Of course you've got to hit a certain standard if you want to get a certain job. But oh my God, like, define success. Like, I don't know who's going to watch this. I don't. But if you're like me, you've spent way too much of your life worrying about what people think and worrying about, like, what's going to happen, and worrying about I don't know how this is. It seems to just be cut. I don't know whether it's the Wi-Fi signal or what. Regardless of what you worry about, we all have these worries, but you know, I think that has been a big marker for success for me in terms of the journey over the last maybe 10 years, is knowing exactly what you're scared of and doing it anyway, and not making excuses about, you know, about doing things or not doing things. The number of times in the last 5 years that I've had conversations with people and I've heard people say, and sometimes I've said it as well, oh yeah, I listen to things that people are telling me. You know, we've all done it. You listen to things that people are telling you, and you go, I could do that, I could do that. And the other person might well be, or might say to you, yeah, but you haven't. They probably wouldn't, because they'd probably be too nice. The point I'm trying to make is, man, life is way too short. How many times have I said it? If you're still trying to climb that, this is wrong. Let me put this the right way. Horses for courses, right? I think that I've just realised, since I started to do more of the things that fuel my body, fuel my mind in the right way, that serve me, if you will, the better I feel, the better if everyone else benefits. Win-win. In terms of what people think, I still think people just worry too much, care too much, genuinely. I mean, think about it like this, and then I'll tell you the biggest lesson, the biggest lesson. What the world sees doesn't define us. So this last year, where I've not been doing much of this, I've not been posting videos of ice baths, I've not been talking about the autoimmune system, I've not been doing breath work, I've not been organising reunions, I've not been putting on that many Wim Hof workshops. I've done a few. That's another video. However, I have been getting the grind in. I've been doing things that contribute positively to my health, I think, is the best way to put it. Right, what the world sees does not define us. Right, what we do in private does. Now, maybe that's not one for surface level. Let it sit. You know, what do we do in private? Some of the things that I've been talking about. Habits. Listen to this. The world rewards what we do in public. Well, not always, but listen, you know what I mean. The world rewards what we do in public, but it's what you do in the dark that defines the light you bring to the stage. I don't know how long I've been talking, waffling. But the story comes back to clothes. One lesson, okay, one story of clothes, a whole load of ramblings. I'm gonna close, right, with just a couple more things. I'm gonna do this regularly. I'm gonna do these maybe once a week. And yes, maybe I'm gonna get some more guests on. But I'm going on a new journey. And that's why I'm not promising that we'll have other guests on immediately, but what I can guarantee is that if you like my banter, and you like, you like some of my chat, and anything that I can say is informative or makes people think, as I said, the JFDI mission remains. Force Forward is no more. That's another video. But the story continues. And the story continues on the back of the insight that I've given you, the biggest lesson, on the back of all my clothes being around the place and having lost weight, so actually moving some clothes into another area where, you know, the bigger clothes, and then getting out some of the smaller ones. The clothes are all over the house, but they're out in the middle of the house for a reason. Because one of the things that I've been doing that I've not spoken about for the last 10, 15 years is I've been an avid reader, studier and practitioner, if you will. Certainly try to apply the methods and habits and guidelines for life, which literally, I think, a kind of modern day translation of, or the way of life story of the Tao Te Ching, written thousands of years ago by Lao Tzu. Okay, many modern interpretations, but I've read this, consumed it. I started to consume it in a book called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life by Wayne Dyer, and it did. But I've not spoken about it a lot. But I'm going to talk about it now because one of the things that it talks about in the Tao Te Ching is about emptying the vessel. And for some, you'll know exactly what I mean. But I have taken this this time that I've got applying for jobs. Again, a whole nother video on what I'm doing professionally, but exciting stuff coming up. I'll get to that in a minute. But emptying the vessel is, for me, it is about, so there's a verse in the Tao Te Ching that talks about emptying the vessel essentially to make space for what is to come. Putting the music on. Yeah, it talks about releasing, and again, there's ties into everything that I believe from a science perspective that the Wim Hof method has taught me, from flipping counselling, from life in general, and from effective practice of breathwork, ice, and, you know, consistency, and you know, using this and training it, not just letting the, you know, 9 to 1 negativity bias that the brain has if you don't train it. You know, feed it the good stuff. And so I find myself in this position thinking, well, you'll see some of the, I'm going to do some shorts and I'll show you, but over the years I have bought so many clothes. I mean, another video, Loft 55, Ali. I think I have about 35 of his garments. I think I'll be leaving them until later on. I don't know that I can't part with too many of them, but anyway. The idea is, and don't get me wrong, okay, so this is, it's quite an important one to me here because there's a wee transition, okay, and it leads into what I'm looking to the future, is it's time to look at items. I've always been one about environment, but it's always been more kind of practical, and now it's very much more emotional, because what I'm going to give away are items that, and by giveaway I mean I'm going to stick them on Vinted and I'm going to stick them on eBay. Give them away, it makes it sound all attractive, but I'm going to do it, I'm going to put them on Vinted. Things like clothes that I love. I don't think I've thrown too many things out unless they've just been done. And as I've got older and try to spend a bit of money on clothes that last, I've ended up with clothes that last, and lots of them. And they're not all, like, don't get me wrong, they're not all like designer label, but everything that I've bought clothing wise has meant something to me at some time. And I think I'm at a point in my life where I'm able to recognize that. I'm able to be grateful for everything, that both materially that I have in life, but also the things that I've learnt along the way. And so, yeah, there will be part of me with heavy heart. It will be clothes. I think books, we're going to do as well. And maybe some old technology items as well. Just, we'll see how things go. And yeah, I'm going to give these things, I'm going to do this with love and with absolute gratitude for the people that purchase these. And I'd love to think that people will feel that this is something that is on its way to them. I said I've been inspired, I think particularly with the clothing. I've seen the way in which both my daughters have approached their kind of style and fashion, and neither of them advocate sort of fast fashion, and that's kind of hit me a bit as well. So there is a little bit of me that has said, well, if I'm gonna put clothes that I have, I've got so I like to think that I'm also doing my bit for a little bit more ethically. And when I come on to professional stuff and more of the stuff that I'm doing, the way in which I go about what I do is way more important than what I do. And so for me, be it this, be it, working in technology, working in my Wim Hof method instructor capacity, and what is to come, with people at the heart of what I'm doing. So this is what we're going to do. How I'm going to do this is I'm going to put some stuff on Vinted. I want it to be fun as well. So in terms of what's coming up, because I'm going to wrap up now, I'm going to put links on to, I'm going to put links on, send some emails out. The way in which people can find out more about this is by going to mrpinkster.co.uk, which is a work in progress as well. I'm not promising too much on there, but this is what you can expect in the next 90 days to 6 months, okay? 90 to 180 days. Will be the new website, which is going to have a new bookstore. Okay, so it's going to be a Mr. Pinkster's online bookstore. I'm pretty excited about it because I'm going to be able to sell books, both from people that I know, that are published authors, but also books that have influenced my life. So we're maintaining the JFDI mission of inspiring action, sharing stories, and oh my Lord, Graham, you've forgotten one of the three. Creating and excuse me, inspiring action, telling stories, and reconnecting and connecting people. Okay. Still maintains this. So the bookstore is going to be twofold. Watch me get excited about this. There's going to be 3 categories only. Okay. It's going to start with making sense, and a number of books. Again, like I said, there's going to be books here that have taught me things through my life. There's going to be a category that's called celebrating authors. That's the one I think I'm maybe most excited about. I don't know, I'm pretty excited about all of them, because celebrating authors is published authors that I know, that I've had the privilege of meeting, maybe some of them only once, but most of them I think I'd like to say friends with them. So I'm super excited for that. And also, I have a new book which will be out hopefully before the end of the year. The first draft should be complete at the end of this week. So listen, if any of these things interest you, or any of the things that I've not spoken about, join me on the journey into the wonderful brain. No, not wonderful brain, maybe insane brain. The wonderful world. Because it is. I'll close on that. It is a wonderful world. It can be a scary place as well. But I think I'm done for tonight. I think thank you for listening, for anybody that's sat through however long. Yeah, the t-shirt fits. There's lots more t-shirts and lots more stuff, but why hold on to what other people could make so much more use of?